Have you started noticing all the gorgeous new autumn 2026 collections hitting the high street? I've definitely started to concentrate on the new autumn pieces that I can add into my wardrobe. And I know that every content creator says this, but autumn is really my favorite season for styling because it's when those gorgeous rich colors come out and I can play around with textures. And actually it's the only fashion trends video I do in the year because it really is one of my favorite seasons for dressing. Now, I've done a real deep dive into some of the key fashion trends for the upcoming season, and I like to do that because I don't want to impulse buy different trends that are going to just sit in my wardrobe. I want to make sure that I'm purchasing trends that I really love and that I can make work with my existing wardrobe so they get their cost per wear. So if you are thinking of updating your autumn wardrobe, then watch this video first because I've done a real deep dive into the trends, and so I've done a lot of the work for you. If you're new here, then hi, welcome. I am Fatima. I'm a qualified style coach. I love doing videos on fashion tips and fashion hauls, and especially helping women over the age of 40 create really elegant wardrobes without having to spend a fortune. So let's dive straight into the trends because what I'm loving this year is a lot of them are really wearable. So grab yourself a drink. I have my large Stanley cup full of water because it's another really hot day in the UK. So let's get started with trend number one, and that's what I like to call jewel tones. Now, one of the key colours that I've noticed in the runways is the colour purple, so that real royal purple. I've seen it appear in collections from Tom Ford to Kate Spade. Now, to be honest, kind of royal purple or that bright purple isn't a colour that I tend to go for, and it's definitely not something that I'm drawn to in the shops either. But I think the good thing about this trend that it's not just that royal purple, but it's also those almost moodier tones of plum and aubergine, which I absolutely love. It's almost that kind of mid-ground between a beautiful rich burgundy and a brown. So I'm absolutely loving the deeper shades of purple rather than the royal purple. And if you did invest in burgundy and brown last year, then hold on to it because it's definitely not going anywhere. Burgundy and brown are just going to be as relevant this year as they were last year. And in particular brown, I think it's established itself as more of a all seasons neutral colour rather than just an autumn colour. I know that I've been wearing brown throughout the year. It's been in the shops in every season, and I just absolutely love that because it is definitely one of my favourite colours, and I feel it's one of the most versatile colours that you can have in your wardrobe because it goes with pretty much everything. And one of the things I have seen on the runways is that we're not just seeing outfits with just brown as an accent colour. Instead, we're seeing it used for full tonal dressing from head to toe. So different shades of brown, which I just think looks so cozy, autumnal and rich and beautiful. I'm really loving that whole tonal brown trend. And I've got so many brown and burgundy pieces, especially brown pieces that I invested in last year that I can't wait to bring out again for autumn. I'm going to do a little bit of a wardrobe swap over kind of end of August, beginning of September. So I'm really looking forward to bringing those pieces out. I think a couple of my favourite pieces were two trench coats I bought a long cord trench coat from Reserved, which is actually really affordable and looked way more expensive than it is. And I can't tell you how many people asked me when I was out wearing that where I got it from. And another one that I loved equally as much was this brown faux suede trench coat that I got from Pretty Lavish. So these are the kind of pieces that I think you can wear every single year, and I can't wait to wear them for the autumn season this year. Okay, so let's move on to the second trend, which is really rich textures. Now, I don't think this is groundbreaking because textures always play a really key role in autumn dressing. But what makes this exciting is how top designers are prioritizing these textures to do the hard work for us. It was in collections from Ralph Lauren to Isabel Marant's, and swapping a basic fabric to a rich texture can instantly elevate what's otherwise a really simple basic outfit. Now, if you are familiar with my channel, then you know that I talk about textures all the time, because textures is one of the ways that I elevate and add more interest to what is otherwise quite a neutral wardrobe. So I play with textures all the time, and I think autumn is one of those seasons that you can really go to town with textures. Now, first up is suede, and again, suede hasn't really gone out of style. It's always a big trend coming up to autumn and winter, and this season it appears in everything from suede tailored midi skirts to jackets to beautiful coats to knee-high boots. Suede is everywhere, and again, the good thing about that is we probably all got some suede pieces from last year in our wardrobe, whether that's a suede handbag or a suede jacket or even a faux suede jacket. I know I've got a couple of faux suede bombers that I'm planning to bring out again that looked really lovely last autumn, so that's really great news. I think on my wish list though this year is that I want to invest in a real suede jacket, be that a shorter jacket, or I really love this olive coloured long suede trench from Mint Velvet. I think it's gorgeous, and it's colour that I don't have a lot of in my wardrobe, so I think that will be such a nice piece to add. And one of the key places that I really think does some great suede pieces is Mint Velvet. And if you're looking for more affordable pieces, I think M&S does some really great faux suede pieces as well. Alongside suede, look out for some more really gorgeous tactile textures like shearling, faux fur, velvet, even corduroy and brocade were shown in a lot of the runways for autumn 2026, and I think the key is those kind of rich tactile textures, almost those ones that you can't wait to touch. I think they're going to play such a key role in this autumn winter dressing. And for me, the best way to style these rich textures is when they're paired with something simple. Like I said, I always use textures to elevate a simple basic outfit, so a satin skirt with a oversized cozy knit, fur with denim. It's just those simple pieces that we can then elevate with these gorgeous new textures that are coming up for the next season. Okay, so let's move on to the third fashion trend, and one of my favorite things to talk about, and that's handbags. And I'm so glad that we're no longer seeing those really tiny micro bags that are very, very impractical. I don't think I ever got into that trend, because I like to carry quite a few pieces, and we're seeing much more practical bags this season. And the first big trend, and this isn't brand new because we have seen this throughout the year, is the East-West bags. And I think they're so gorgeous, and I think they add real interest into an outfit. I really love that long shape, and that's where I've definitely got a gap in my wardrobe, because I don't own any handbags in that shape. So that's something I'm definitely going to invest in this year. And that's what I love about these fashion trends, that I can kind of pick and choose where the gaps are in my wardrobe. If I love them, then invest in them, and then I feel like they can really update my wardrobe. A few favourites that I've seen, I really love the East-West bag from Parissa Wang. I also love the version from Demilia. Another key bag trend for this year, again, that we've seen throughout spring, is what I call either the doctor bag or the bowling bag. It's a really practical bag. I think it looks great with a top handle, and it looks like a bag that I could really invest in, because it looks like you can fit so much into it. I think it's just really classic and chic looking, and they're not structured in a rigid way. They have this kind of more supple leather look, and I think they just add so much interest into a simple outfit. And I know I use this phrase all the time, but that's what my dressing is. I dress quite simply, quite classic, and I think it's these accessories that I use that can make my outfit look a lot more elevated and polished. And these doctor bags, or the bowling bags, were seen on shows from Miu Miu to Bottega Veneta. They were everywhere, and I've already seen so many different versions on the high street. And I also love the fact that you can wear them with anything. I would pair them with smart work, where I would pair them with denim, as I would with maybe leggings and a trench over the top and one of those bags. I think they just add something to every type of outfit. And some of my favorites that I've seen is this brown version from COS, which I think is gorgeous, and also this black version from M&S, which is really affordable, and I think it looks a lot more expensive than it is. Now, the next trend is one that I'm not so sure about, and one I don't think I'm going to be investing in, and that's the return of the soubrette pants. That's that kind of 90s minimalism look with the very tapered trousers or jeans. Now, we're not talking skinny, but we're definitely not talking wide leg. It's very, very slim fitting. And it's not that I don't like this trend. I just don't think that this is a trend that suits my body shape. So if I see this trend on somebody else, I think it can look amazing and it can look very chic. And I think, in my opinion, that those kind of slimmer cigarette trousers or jeans look really great with the taller girlies and probably a more athletic body shape with longer legs and slimmer legs, whereas I'm 5'4", an hourglass, quite curvy with shorter legs, and I feel like those tapered trousers just make my legs look shorter. And again, if you're used to my channel, then you will see that most of my trousers tend to be wide leg, because I think they're the best in creating length and also balancing out my proportions. So I think this is one that you need to judge for yourself. If you wear them and you feel really confident and you feel like they look great, then I think it's a great trend to invest in. Whereas if you're like me and you don't think they're the most flattering on your body shape, then these are ones that I would give a miss. One thing I do want to invest in, though, is most of my trousers and jeans are wide leg, and I would like to invest more in some straight leg jeans in particular. I feel like that's a gap in my wardrobe, and I feel like, unlike these really tapered, very slim leg jeans, these straight leg jeans are much more classic, and I don't think they ever go out of style. I think they're an absolute classic. So I definitely think I'm going to be investing in a couple of straight leg jeans, and also I'm going to invest in an indigo straight leg, because indigo also seems to be a really key trend for this season in jeans. Like, I've seen those dark jeans everywhere, and also I've got some really great inspiration from Pinterest, because they tend to go with everything, and that's really great to have in your wardrobe. And also I think they look more dressy than your kind of lighter jeans, and I think you can really dress them up to look very, very beautiful and chic in the evening as well. If you're going out for dinner or date night, I think they make a really lovely option. And that's what I mean about these trends. I think that you should pick and choose those trends to how they're going to suit your body shape, how they're going to suit your lifestyle, because we've got to consider that what we see on the runway is really not going to cut it when we're doing our daily shop or doing a school run or going out for a walk. The trends have to reflect your everyday life, and I think that's the great thing about them, because you can really pick and choose which ones you're going to buy that will update your wardrobe and make you look current and up to date, but still keep that classic style. And I think that's really important. So the next trend is what I like to call the new ladylike era. Now, according to publications like Marie Claire, they say that we're seeing this shift away from the more boxy, oversized looks and much more into those classic, tailored, elegant lines. There was a lot of skirt suits on the runways and sculpted jackets and beautiful collarless blazers from the likes of Chanel, Balenciaga and Miu Miu. Now, when you think of ladylike, you might think of those really formal, stiff suits, but that's not the case in autumn 2026 at all. It's more about that elevated tailoring in general that we can use in everyday life. And a celebrity I think that has got this covered down to the ground is Victoria Beckham. It's that kind of tailored but not really, really tight stuffy look. It's really chic, it's really elegant, it's really up to date, but it still has that beautiful tailoring to create those really gorgeous, elegant lines. So instead of those rigid uniforms, we're seeing much more softer silhouettes. And I really love this trend because I think it's so adaptable to everyday life rather than just the runway. And I think investing in these kind of pieces are the sort of pieces that work really hard in your wardrobe. These are the pieces that are meant to feel more lived in rather than overly formal. For example, adding a beautiful tailored blazer on a pair of denim jeans just instantly elevates that outfit. Or even separating a matching suit that you're going to wear throughout the week with different options makes it really, really versatile. And I love this trend because I talk a lot about body shape and body proportions on my channel, and creating that almost that hourglass shape, so balancing between your hips and your shoulders and creating that definition in your waist. And I think when you have that sort of tailoring, especially tailoring in jackets and coats, it really helps to create that kind of waist definition for you. And that's what you try to do as a stylist. We're trying to create the definition of a waist depending on where it may sit on your body type, because then it will help to balance out the rest of your body and bring you back into that beautiful feminine shape. So the key pieces I've seen that are on my wish list are these beautiful blazers from Holland & Cooper. I also really like the tailored trousers from COS. It's kind of the barrel trousers, but giving them that tailored look that just makes it look more classic and chic than a trend piece. I also really love this pinstriped grey tailored trousers from Massimo Dutti. So I have added all of these onto my wish list. Okay, let's talk about a trend that comes up every single season, and that's animal prints. They just are a recurring theme. I don't think they go out of style throughout the year, but autumn, winter is where we kind of tend to see those really gorgeous textures come as well. Now, what animal print you choose is really a preference, but I feel like each season there tends to be that key focus on one or two more than the others. I think last year there was this big focus on cow print, and we saw it everywhere from shoes to handbags. And this year I've seen a real focus on snow leopard and cheetah prints. They were on the runways from anything from Tom Ford to Carolina Herrera. Now, this is one where I like to dip my toes into, because I'm definitely not one for wearing animal print from kind of head to toe. I tend to use animal prints more in accessories than I do clothing. So whether that's a silk scarf or whether that's a handbag or a pair of shoes, I really love this look of an animal print scarf on a classic outfit. I think it looks super chic. Actually, I might venture out a little bit more this year because I've seen this really nice satin skirt that I like from Zara. And I love this because I feel like it's quite subtle. So even though it's animal print, it's not in your face. So I would pair this with, as it gets cooler, maybe a turtleneck and some boots and put a coat over the top. And I think that could look really, really beautiful. I also really like this Katie Loxton weekend bag. I think that would look really fun on an otherwise plain outfit. So I think it's a really good option as well. Another quick mention of a print that I've seen a lot of is checks or plaid. Seems to be everywhere at the moment, and I think again I like to incorporate in small pieces. I've seen a couple of really gorgeous plaid skirts in like really nice autumnal colors. There's one from M&S, and I think there's one from Mint Velvet. I also think a blazer in plaid would look really nice if it was paired with a otherwise really neutral outfit. I think that just adds elevation and interest to the whole look. I think the key for me in these trends is just to add one hero piece to an otherwise quite plain outfit, and that's how I like to play around a lot with these trends, to just make it feel more wearable, still look up to date, but still look really classic and chic. Okay, so let's move on to the final one, and this is definitely one of my favorites, and this is a statement coat. Statement coats were everywhere on the runway, and I'm loving this. I love a statement coat because I think it's the ultimate autumn and winter style cheat code. You can wear a really simple outfit, but if you put a beautiful coat over the top, that instantly looks really polished and elevated. And I've said this so many times and you'll probably get bored of it, but in late autumn and winter, your coat is the outfit. It really is. That's pretty much, when you're out and about, that's all anybody's going to see. Now again, each year there's a lot of different styles that come out for the different trends of coats. And again, we're seeing trench coats, whether that's a longer line trench coat or whether that's a short trench coat. But one of the key focuses that I've seen on the runways is the attention on really maxi coats. So those that are kind of below your calf, and I think that just looks ultra chic. And if you're thinking like me, I'm quite a small frame, I would look for either some natural tailoring cut into that coat so it gives you a bit of shape, or something with the belt that you can kind of cinch in at the waist, or you can even add your own belt into it. I know, even though I'm a smaller frame, this is definitely still a trend that I'm going to invest in, because there's plenty of ways that you can give it some more shape. And as I spoke about earlier, alongside length is also texture. So as well as your classic wool coats, we're seeing beautiful oversized faux fur maxi length coats that look just beautiful. Coats with shearling collars. You just got so many different textures to play with. If I was going to invest in only one thing in autumn and winter, it would 100% be a good quality coat, because I think that that is just such a key piece to add elegance, interest into every single outfit. And you could just have one or two and that will work beautifully throughout the season. I do have quite a lot of coats because I love a good coat, but I am missing a kind of rich burgundy plum colour, which is one that I've got on my wish list. And also I don't actually have a classic black coat, because as I was shifting through my winter stuff, I donated that because it had seen better days. So a classic black coat is also on my list. I really love this black one that I've seen on Phase 8. I think it's called the Lydia coat, but it's just a really classic, simple design, and I think that would work beautifully throughout the season on any outfit. Other favourites are the one I showed you earlier, the olive suede trench that I've seen from Mint Velvet is gorgeous. I absolutely am obsessed with this tweed one from Holland & Coupe. I just think it's so beautiful. It is pretty pricey, probably out of my budget range. I think it's about £800. Such a gorgeous coat. And if you do decide to go for a more statement coat in maybe faux fur or animal print, then I think the key to keeping it looking elegant for everyday life is to pair it with something really simple, like an all black outfit with a animal print long coat. I think could look super chic. But more than anything, I think just have fun with it. I always use these kind of new trends coming up every season as something that I can add a little bit of interest within my existing wardrobe, not to replace my existing wardrobe. And I think that's really key, and that's why I like to do quite a deep dive into the new season trends, especially when it comes to autumn. So if you are thinking about autumn 2026 and looking to do some shopping, then I really hope that these 7 upcoming fashion trends have given you some inspiration. Of course, there are a lot more trends, but I've picked the 7 that I think are really key for this season. I would love to know which trends that you are looking forward to investing in for the upcoming season. If there's one that I haven't mentioned that you're loving, please do let me know in the comments below, because I really love hearing from you guys and chatting with you then. So do let me know what your favourite trends for the upcoming season are, and if you're just as excited for autumn 2026 dressing as I am. If you enjoyed the video and did find it useful, then please do give me a thumbs up. So for the next couple of weeks, I've got a couple of perfect videos to transition to the autumn period coming up for you. Late summer, early autumn transitional pieces that are new in my wardrobe coming up for you. So I can't wait to show you them. Some of these I've ordered already and others that are on their way. So I think you're going to love that. And then the week after that, the end of August, I'm going to do my autumn capsule wardrobe. I know you guys love that video and find it really, really helpful. So that is definitely scheduled in. So if that is the kind of content that you love to watch, then please do subscribe to my channel. It really does help my channel, and it really supports it by pushing it out to other people that might be interested in my content also. So as usual guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again in my next video. Take care, bye.